Hi everyone, welcome to Justice with a Y. You can call me Justice. This video is not formatted like my last one was, so if you notice a difference, that's totally okay. I'm probably going to revert back to the original form because that's what I'm more comfortable with, but if you guys like this one and you think this looks more professional, then just let me know. I'm open to feedback. I hope that you guys find this story as insightful as I did. This news feature is about a controversial video that suggests multiple things about our culture. 1. People are more likely to accept a narrative that upsets them over one that pleases them or leaves them feeling neutral. 2. People have lost faith in organized religion and prefer to practice privately, if even at all. And 3. Even people who do not practice organized religion still expect religious leaders to provide guidance and support for their communities. When they do not meet those expectations, there could be backlash. Sandarose.com has provided the video that went viral on X.
I, Roberta MCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Without context, it would seem that Pastor Laurence Winans Sr., a member of the famous Winans gospel family, was telling his congregant that he wanted more money from her and was disappointed that she did not offer $2,000 the first time that he asked. Why would he force church attendees to donate so much money, even if it was for communities in Detroit? He must understand that most of the people at his church are everyday people who cannot afford to give more than they are offering. Him being the pastor of a mega church, Perfecting Church, means that he makes a lot more money than all of them. He should understand if they fall short of his donation goal, right? That is what many people on the internet were wondering. They concluded that he must have wanted the money for himself. This is around the same time that the United States is experiencing a government shutdown. Federal workers are not going to be paid, and President Donald Trump has denied SNAP funds that were already put aside in case of a government shutdown. Henceforth, many Americans are hungry and frustrated. According to The Independent, people were discussing the video on Threads. One user said, "I would have took my money back so fast and would never set foot in that building again." And another user said, "And then wonder why people are leaving the church in droves. These mega pastors are literal thieves. Aren't millions of people unemployed right now?" The comment section for this article also shows that the sentiment is the same here, as it is on X and Threads. One person says, "Yet they still donate. Has he got his private jet yet? Also, does he donate in music income to the church? If there ain't a hell, there ought to be." Someone else said, "Having to announce the amount of your offering over the microphone should be enough of a wake-up call to see that you're not in a church of Jesus Christ, more likely a casino of Satan." In all caps, "This behavior contradicts everything Jesus ever taught. Run, sister, run." And then another person said, "And did the good pastor later go to hospital to have $800 in coins removed from his nether regions? Just asking." So as you can see, a lot of people do not have faith in religious leaders. That is why it was easy for them to come to the conclusion that he meant harm when he said what he said in front of all of those members of the church. They believe that he intentionally embarrassed Roberta McCoy. Atlanta Black Star also shared some comments from Threads. One of them being, "Sorry, but bro been ripping off his members for over 20 years. He's collected millions over the years and that church building hasn't been touched in years. The church isn't coming." But there was one person on Threads who defended the pastor, saying, "First, I knew when I watched this video that what Pastor Winans said was being taken out of context. Secondly, everyone is not been laid off. Everyone's business is not closing down. People of faith don't function based on fear of what might happen. Third, this is one pastor at one church. This is not the attitude of so many pastors. That is such a tired cliche. So the story about the viral video written by Nicole Duncan Smith of Atlanta Black Star shows a slightly different angle, that not everyone misinterpreted the video, that some people did not immediately assume the worst, because they do happen to trust that most church leaders are going to do their part and that they're going to help their communities. People Magazine and The Independent requested a comment from Perfecting Church, and there was no response. However, Roberta McCoy and Pastor Winans did accept an interview with WXYZ News.
But first, we need to clear up a major misunderstanding that's gone viral on social media.
On Sunday, Pastor Marvin Winans hosted a day of giving. Members of Perfecting Church were asked to donate $1,000 and raise another $1,000 to help finish the new sanctuary in Detroit and support their community programs. Pastor Winans asked those giving $2,000 or more to come to the front of the church first, with others following, from the largest donors to those donating as little as $1.62. I spoke exclusively with both Pastor Winans and Roberta McCoy, who says she's been attacked online since that video began spreading. You're the woman in that viral video.
Right.
He did not rebuke you.
He absolutely did not rebuke me. Now, there's a difference. There was a correction, because let me clearly state that Pastor gave instruction on the lines to get into.
I was calling because the whole church was giving, and it was our day of giving, and the whole church was coming, and we didn't want people standing, the mothers and all that, so I was calling them by increments. And we had someone that had given out of before, and I corrected it, and I told everybody to listen and come when you call, and that's all that was.
Roberta told me Pastor Winans personally apologized to her. She's been a member of Perfecting Church since 2013 and has given faithfully over the years and will continue.
I did shorten that news report a bit in order to keep things concise, but the overall messaging is still the same. There was a misunderstanding, and they were hoping to clear the name of the church and to clear their own names. However, this did not completely quench the thirst of the public. I think they were still looking for a bad guy in this story, as humans tend to do. We enjoy a good story. We like to see people overcome adversity and triumph. And when we do not have a villain in a story, we might perhaps create one of our own, even when we've already been corrected or told that that's not exactly true. Although many people online thought that the pastor was rebuking her for not donating enough money to the church, he was telling her that she was in the wrong donation line. From what I understand, she was supposed to come in an earlier line, and she had missed her cue and came into a line with people who had bigger donations. And once this confusion was cleared up, the internet sentiment changed. People went from supporting Roberta McCoy, saying that he shouldn't have talked to her that way, he shouldn't have tried to embarrass her, she did everything she could to donate to the church. People went from being upset with the pastor to being upset with her for not following his instructions or for being confused about his instructions. Sandra Rose says, however, McCoy walked back her defense of the megachurch pastor. In an emotional post on Facebook, McCoy said she was ordered to apologize to Pastor Winans for making him look bad. This is her post. It's like I'm turning invisible now. I'm no longer useful to them. I served their purpose. I was only damage control. They wanted to protect the name. protect the brand. Their calls of concern has stopped when the media storm stopped. I see that with wide open eyes now. They turned on me. They blame me. Now it's all my fault. They say I'm the one that owes Pastor Winans an apology. They say I need to grow up. I need to be an adult about this. My heart is broken. I'm fading away. My big heart for people is shrinking into a shallow heartbeat. And she went on to say, did you see the empty seats on Sunday? People are appalled and tired of being mistreated in the churches. Do you know what would bring people back to church in great numbers? I think seeing the human side of a pastor. I think if they saw a pastor who was not prideful, but who was humble, like Jesus, and just said he was sorry for the offense, I think that would bring a lot of people back to churches all over the world. I, Roberta McCoy, stand in faith and give this letter in unity to those who never received your apology for church hurt. I'm sorry. That was only part of her post, but I wanted to read the parts out loud that I thought were the most relevant. In spite of the controversy surrounding Perfecting Church, Black Enterprise was able to make an article about Tyler Perry, the famous filmmaker, playwright, and actor, donating $100,000 to the church. They posted a video on their website.
That when the devil went crazy, folks started calling up from other states saying, I got to give on this. Well, maybe I'll tell you now, since y'all happy enough, that since it broke out Monday, we have received, one person called and he said, tell my name. He said, because I know God is in this. Tyler Perry said $100,000. Pastor
Candace Edwards of Black Enterprise explained in the article that Perry is known for supporting Black legacy faith-based initiatives. And although the donation was praised as a show of solidarity, it also raised bigger questions about how churches raise money and where that money actually goes, as well as how faith leaders take criticism. So the next thing that we need to talk about is why people have criticized mega churches to begin with. To be absolutely clear, it is not just one incident that has caused people to become more wary of mega churches, but a few notable examples would be that Joel Osteen, the pastor at the time of Lakewood Church during Hurricane Harvey in 2017, would not be open to the public for shelter unless other shelters were no longer available. And there were people who disliked the response. They believed that he was trying to avoid helping people. They believed that the church was very big and that it would have made the perfect emergency shelter and it should have been available sooner. They also saw an image of the church that showed that it was not flooded very much and that there was no excuse to open it. And they took that as him being dishonest. And many people stopped trusting him after that. But he still got rewarded for the effort that he did put forward. And I think that is another reason why people were angry at him. They felt that he was not properly held accountable. He was given a day of honor in 2018. Angela Dinker of the Minnesota Star Tribune told her own story about why she walked away from the megachurch. Dinker was in the evangelical circle where Donald Trump, our current president, is incredibly popular. Her values simply did not match the values of her fellow evangelicals. She did not understand why they uplifted a man who had cheated on multiple wives. She did not understand why they demonized women and people of color and members of the queer community. It just didn't fit how she felt about other people. And to her, that did not seem like very godlike behavior. So it made her question the people that she was surrounding herself with and the people who were being put in power in those churches. She also noticed that there was a shift away from God and a shift towards the pastor. So the pastor was seen more as an important figure than God was. It wasn't just things that happened to her, it was things that she saw happening to other people, with multiple churches standing by police officers when George Floyd was murdered by a police officer. They did not stand up for him. She saw that there were a number of survivors coming out and saying that members of the clergy had sexually abused them ever since they were young children. It would be multiple things like that that would make some people want to walk away from a mega church and to go towards a smaller church community, or to just walk away from organized religion and to just practice privately with close friends and family. Pastor Robert Morris of Gateway Church would be an example of a megachurch pastor who was accused of sexually abusing someone when they were 12 years old. She spoke out about her experience and he stepped down. Fortunately, the victim's family believed her, but the church officials did not, and they even wanted her to settle for her silence, and she refused to take that deal. Another point of criticism for megachurches is that people don't really believe that the money that they collect is going back to the people who put in the money. An example of that would be when Pastor Keon Henderson, the founder and CEO of the Lighthouse Church and Ministries in Houston, Texas, he said that Hurricane Beryl damaged 3 of the church's 4 campuses. And so he asked his followers to give him over $4 million in 3 weeks in order to get that project done. A lot of people thought he's just trying to steal more money from people. There is no way that anyone is going to be able to construct that in just 3 weeks. We also have to remember that the city of Detroit had a construction project. Perfecting Church had faced controversy before because they were wondering why it was taking so long to complete the project, and it was becoming a nuisance for residents. However, the city of Detroit dropped the lawsuit after reaching a deal with the church. The status of the building project is unclear, which I think just gives people another reason to be frustrated, to feel as though they might be getting lied to. Those are just a few of the issues that people might have, but I hope that that gave you a better idea for how this more recent drama came about. What can we learn from the story of Pastor Winans and Roberta McCoy? The drama not only highlights issues with some faith leaders, but it also shows some of the problems within these faith communities, that even some people's peers do not support them when they need them the most. If people are not going into churches with the right mindset, they might uplift the wrong leaders. And if leaders do not set a good example, they could attract the wrong congregants. Overall, the story emphasizes the necessity of having humanity, of helping people when they need you the most, whether it be helping them with food insecurity, giving them spiritual guidance, or just being there to listen to their concerns and to not try to discredit them or say that they're being ungrateful or to imply that they're trying to embarrass their church. Even people who don't go to mega churches, they still might go to church. And even if they don't, they still hold their values very close to their hearts. And people who are not necessarily religious still expect religious leaders to do what they say they're going to do. If they say that they are going to help those who are in need, if they say that they are going to be neighborly and that they're going to love others and support them, that is what they expect them to do. And when those expectations are not met, there is going to be trouble and there is going to be a lack of trust. So even if there is still a faith in God, there is less faith in other people. And that is what has made so many people leave organized religion. It's not that they stopped believing in God, they stopped believing in one another. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it to be useful to you. I understand that everyone has different beliefs, and many times we will not act on our own beliefs. We will not stand on our conviction. We will change our minds, and we will fall short of the goals that we set for ourselves. I understand that, and I empathize greatly with people who are walking away or walking towards a religious community because they need something to believe in. So I just wanted to make it abundantly clear, I don't care what it is that you believe. I didn't make this video to try to convince people to not be who they are anymore. It's actually the opposite. Whatever it is that you are, you should absolutely be, whatever that is. None of us are perfect, but the important thing is that a lot of us are trying. A lot of us are trying to make sense of all of this chaos. So I appreciate you guys for taking some time out of your day, as chaotic as it may be, to listen to what I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more content like this, political commentary, social commentary, news, just hearing my thoughts, then like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you guys next time.